Okay, we talked about sort of the big picture, the relationship between law and ethics, and we saw one way of looking at it is the natural law tradition. Now, there are other theories about the relationship between law and ethics, that they are completely separate domains, for example, but the natural law tradition is a very influential one. Now, even with that said, there is a weakness, and that weakness is the natural law tradition, right, doesn't tell us what those rights are, right? What is the content of these natural rights? What rights, inalienable rights, do people have, right? We have to figure that out on our own. So what I want to do here is share with you the three main theories of ethics. And that's one way of looking at, okay, well, what are these rights? What is the right way of living, etc. Now, there are three major theories of ethics, and here what I'm going to do, because this is just a survey course and it's a legal and ethical environment of business survey course, I just want to paint the big picture and leave you with that, because this could easily be, in philosophy we could study these more in depth. But the three big theories are duty ethics or deontological ethics, consequentialism, and then virtue ethics. With duty ethics, well, actually, let me begin with consequentialism, because that's probably, or pragmatism is a very influential sort of contemporary theory we often associate with Jeremy Bentham and the utilitarian tradition. Without going into all the details and the variants, the basic idea of consequentialism is that, look, consequences matter. We decide the goodness or badness of an action based on the consequences it produces. Generally, we look at harm. Does an action produce external harm? If it does, then it's generally bad. And so the idea here is to very much economists really operate implicitly with this assumption of consequentialism, that we want to minimize harm to the greatest extent possible, and we want to, of course, maximize good things, utility function or social welfare, whatever you want, whatever it is, your good things, your happiness, whatever you're trying to maximize. The problem with consequentialism is that, notice, right, in theory, you could sacrifice the one for the good of the many, right? And so consequentialism and natural rights are can be potentially in tension, right? There's other criticisms you can make with consequentialism. Another criticism is that because it is forward-looking, right? Because you have to judge an action based on its consequences or based on its effects, you have to be able to predict with some degree of certainty what the effects of any given action or rule-following behavior might be. And in reality, right, human knowledge is very limited. It's very presumptuous. We don't even know if there's going to be a second wave of the pandemic and when that wave will occur and how serious it will be, right? So, it's hard to, in many instances, predict what the likely bad or good effects of any given action or rule, behavior is. And if you're not able then to measure the consequences of an action or rule-following behavior, then your whole theory falls apart. It collapses. So that's going to take me to duty ethics, and I'll do that in the next video, because duty ethics is a powerful response to the consequentialist tradition or consequentialism, utilitarianism.